All right, so it is 8:45 on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. This meeting of the Hingham Board of Water Commissioners is called to order. I note that this meeting is being offered remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all other communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. If anybody is wishing to record a meeting, just if you could show, wave your hand or raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. I know for the record that participating in this Board of Water Commissioners meeting this morning are myself, William Ramsey, the chair, and also Commissioner Joseph Fisher. Liz Klein, our other colleague, is on vacation this morning. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Joe, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Great, I'm ready to proceed as well, so I will take a motion.
I move to approve the minutes dated March 22nd, 2022.
I would second that motion. All those in favor by roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is discussion and potential vote to approve a contract with Water Service Professionals of PA Incorporated for emergency filter repair work at the Weir River Water System Water Treatment Plant. I do see our Superintendent, Russ Tierney, online. Russ, good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
Doing great. Go ahead.
Good. So in late June, we had a failure of the tile floor of the water filters. We immediately took that filter offline. On Wednesday, our contractor who does the repairs on the filters, WSP, came in, took all the media out, and found the back left-hand corner of the filter had collapsed. As we started to pull tiles out of the filter, we noticed that more tiles had failed. At one point, we made the decision to just tear all the tiles out and replace the entire under-drain system. The under-drain system is what carries water to the clear well after it's been treated by the filters. We've done some investigation. The preliminary report is now that there was some type of failure on the under-drain system itself where the rebar had rotted away from when it was first installed. They had used steel rebar, which was probably not the right thing to use at the time, instead of stainless steel rebar. And we think it's some type of thermal expansion. So to mitigate that, we are going to add, looking at designing some type of air relief on the filter backwash system. These are things that no one would have known about, and they could not see when they did the initial rehab of the filters when they added the new media, because you'd have to literally take the tile floors off the floor to look at the rebar, which we did not do, which you would not do.
Hello?
Ross, are you still there?
You're frozen, Russ.
Ross, I think we lost you there.
Do you see me?
Not a great look, Russ.
I'm sorry. Am I back? Am I good?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sorry. Where was I? Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going somewhere. I apologize. But EP has been on site for the entire process and watching what's going on. I have met with each individual vendor that we have. I've met with them individually to get their ideas in what happened. Then we met as a group. And the final decision was to replace the under-drain system with a brand new stainless steel under-drain system. And while we're doing that, we're going to add a new air wash system that is independent of each other. So right now the air wash system is one header, and you can have problems with that. The newer designs are coming through with each individual air wash in certain parts of the tank. So that's what we're looking at right now. And that's what the contract's to do.
Russ, thank you. Let me ask this: what caused the failure? Was the heat?
We think it's a combination of the heat, and then when there was pressure under the tiles, the rebar was so thin that it snapped the rebar and pushed the tiles up. That's what the preliminary thought is. We did check the SOPs for backwash. We checked the SCADA system, the pressures, the flows. EP looked them over. I looked them over. Suez looked them over. And WSP looked everything over. That's why I met with each individual vendor to make sure that we got the same from everybody, and we did. And Veolia also sent up one of their filter experts, and their diagnosis was the same thing. And it happened in 2 other towns. We did some research, and this happened in 2 other towns with the same type of filter that we have.
Okay. All right, Joe, do you have any questions?
Just a couple. And Russ, you and I have discussed this previously, so I'm familiar with what's going on. I just hear about a couple of things, and I think I know the answers, but I want to make sure that I'm correct. So the failure of the filters, was it due to any failure on our part in terms of maintenance, or it was basic, or was this really an inherited problem?
No, it's definitely an inherited problem. From what we can see and everything we've done, it's inherited.
Okay. And you mentioned, basically the failure in connection with the rebar. Do you know when that was installed?
When the plant was built. So it's the original rebar. So it has 30 years of life on it too. 30 years of life on it. But go ahead. The rebar has definitely got some rot in it. So we are planning to look at the other 3 filters over the next 2 years.
So you said when was it installed?
1996. Sorry, 1996.
Okay. The amount of the contract, which is a little under $300,000, are you comfortable with the pricing and how that amount was arrived at?
Yes, because both myself and EP double checked it, and EP just did a couple other jobs similar to this, and they said the pricing is definitely in line and a very good price for what is going to be done. Because when we're all done with this now, we're going to have a brand new stainless steel under drain, which is the next generation of under drain systems in the treatment business.
Just from a contract standpoint, was there a competitive bid? Was there a requirement to go through a competitive bid process on this?
No, we applied with DCAM for emergency approval to mitigate that part of the bidding process, and they approved that via email about a week ago.
Okay, and Tom, has this been run through our contracts folks, and we're satisfied we're in compliance with the acquisition laws?
But we, Kathy Riley, worked with Russ and got all that done properly.
Okay, and looking at the contract, it appears that the schedule is for the work to be completed by no later than December 2022. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what's your reasonable expectation of when the work will actually be done? Is it really December or much sooner?
If everything goes well, Joe, it'll be probably October, somewhere around there. The biggest lead time is the actual under drain being manufactured. The manufacturer has put us to the front of their line due to the fact that it is an emergency, and the other stuff he's working on is planned work. So they have put us to the front of their production line. So.
Got it. And just one final question. How is the debris or anything that's removed, how is that disposed of?
It's tile. It's just tile. So it's just brought to a dump or something like that. They brought it with them. And WSB took it. So.
Okay.
It's clay, Joe.
That's it. Thank you.
Tile. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Russ. Let me see, does any members of the public have a question or comment? If you could just raise your hand either physically or virtually, and I'm happy to call on you.
Bill, I think Mr. George has a comment.
I'm sorry, Mr. Who?
Tony George.
Oh, go ahead, Tony. If you could just state your name and address for the record.
I need to unmute. But Bill, is it in regards to what Russ just talked about, or other topics?
Yeah, so right now it's just what Russ talked about, but we do have public comments slated in two items from now.
Then my bad. I'll wait till later. Thank you.
That's okay. No problem. Thanks, Tony. Anybody else? Okay. Not seeing anyone, I will take a motion.
I move to authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement with Water Service Professionals of PA, Inc. for emergency filter repair work at the Weir River Water System Water Treatment Plant in an amount not to exceed $297,750.
And I would second that motion. All those in favor by roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. All right, next item on the agenda is the Water Superintendent Report. Right, Russ, go ahead. You have the floor.
So I don't have it with me because I'm off today, but I do have a couple of quick items. We are in a mandatory level 1 water ban at this time. That was put in place due to the designation by the Commonwealth that we are in a stage 2 drought in the area. I've checked with a few other towns around us, and everybody's in about the same situations we are in water bans that we are. A couple towns are on full water bans, but we are in a stage 1 at this time. And that's where we're going to stay right there. The plant work is going well. The distribution work's going well. The crews are working really hard in the heat. We've been kind of backing off on a few jobs just because it's too hot to do that kind of work right now with this heat. But they've been doing some preventative maintenance work throughout the system. And I'm working with EP now. We have a signed contract to start mowing. That will start next week, and we'll keep working towards the design of the tank. And that's about it that's going on. Oh, actually, collections are getting really good. Collections are going very well, and we are moving down that percentage of uncollected funds. So that's going very well. Everyone's doing a really good job with that.
Russ, I know you sent some information out over email, but could you just, for anybody who zooms in or who watches the meeting later, can you let us know what a level 1 water ban consists of and what residents need to be doing to help conserve water?
Level 1 water ban is that irrigation of lawns and stuff like that, automatic irrigation systems can only be run on Tuesdays and Wednesdays during certain hours. And it's an odd-even schedule where odd is Tuesday and even is Wednesday. And everything else, you can hand water your gardens and things like that. So it's more of the irrigation of lawns gets cut way back, and automatic irrigation systems gets cut way back.
Great. Thank you.
People, just keep an eye on your lawns. Lawns will go dormant right now. They'll turn brown, but they're not by any means are they dead. Lawns do that everywhere. They turn brown, but they're gone dormant. And as soon as we get some better weather and some more rain, they'll turn right back around. So.
Russ, thank you. Joe, any questions?
Yeah, Russ. So I understood that there was an emergency blast to the community, and there was discussion about the town experiencing low water reserves due to a communication failure. Could you explain what that communication failure was?
Yeah, so we have a repeater at the plant that grabs all the information from all the wells, and that's how the system runs. We're confident it was due to the high heat. The radio actually burnt out, and we got right on it. Everybody went out and turned everything on hand manually. We were kind of running the plant in manual, meaning we do have to do more testing, more of everything. But in that time frame, with all the irrigation and things like that, the tanks dropped significantly. We had everything back up and running within an hour or two. But again, without that communication, it makes it a lot more difficult to treat water.
Sure.
So we did lose some, I shouldn't say more difficult, it's more time consuming. It takes more time to make sure everything's done perfectly. So we cut back a little bit on what was going out of the plant. So we lost some elevation in the tanks to a point where I felt it was becoming a hazard to the town and the fire departments. So we went into that emergency for 48 hours just to make sure we could gain levels back in the tanks, which we have. So
Right. So that 48 hours, it was basically seizing all non-essential water uses, not just on a particular day. Don't do anything.
Correct. Don't do anything.
Has that been, and that's been lifted now?
That's been lifted now. We're just on the level 1 ban.
Yeah.
As of now.
And are there systems that we need to add or changes to make sure that this type of communication failure does not occur?
Joe, it's one of those things that's hard to do that with. But what we did talk about 3 or 4 months ago was adding a second repeater. So we did have a call into our communications company, radio company, to see what that would entail. It's just been, as work, people get more work, it's time to get them out here. But they did come out right away and fix the radio that we had in stock. So we did have a backup radio in stock. And now we'll have another one as that comes in. So we do have a redundancy when it comes to radios. But again, if we put another repeater in, I think that's going to help a lot. So I am looking into that right now.
And is there anything the town, when I say the town, it's not just Hingham, but all the towns that are serviced by Weir River, that we can do to make sure that conservation efforts are known and that they're followed?
Yeah, we actually, the other day we developed a notification system on our website where residents can go in and push a button that says, report a non-conforming water usage. So you go onto the site, you press the button, it can be done. You can put your name and address in there that you did it, or you can do it anonymously. So it's not, it doesn't matter if you want to do it anonymously, you can. That email comes directly to Leanne and I, and we're using the town system to compile those things. And then we're going to go tag those doors and check those residents to make sure they know that we are in a water ban. So there is a way to do it through the website, and it's right on weirriverwater.com.
Sure, but I'm speaking of more general conservation efforts, like don't run your dishwasher if it's only half full. Yeah. Things that members of the community can do just to help support our water system.
If you go on the website, same thing. We put a whole page on there, and it is things like that, Joe, where do larger loads of laundry. To make sure your dishwasher is full. Only fill your pools when you have to. Don't just keep filling it just because it goes down a half an inch. Things like that. And then even if you're using a well to irrigate your lawn, cut back on using the well 2 or 3 days a week, because that does pull from the aquifer. It does cause stress on the aquifer. And right now the town itself has backed off on the watering schedules on the fields.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we should make an effort to ensure that our residents are aware of the options and how they can help the situation.
That's definitely on the website between our website and the conservation website. It's on there, definitely.
Yep, got it. Okay, thank you, and I really appreciate your efforts here. That's it.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you as well, Russ, for getting the word out about the drought we're in. I know it's not an issue just focused on Hingham, it's the entire state. So we all need to do our part to help conserve water. Okay, let me see if anybody has any questions based on the superintendent's report. You can just wave your hand virtually or over Zoom. Okay, seeing none.
Sure.
I'm sorry,
No, I saw
Tony, go ahead.
first.
Yeah, there you are. Go ahead, Tony, go ahead.
Thank you. So Russ, the opportunity to help you enforce or apply the regulations, the folks here representing our WRWA, we're a group of people that are very concerned with the water that is not in the Weir River as we speak. It's totally dry below Trip Hammer. So if there's any, we're interested in helping conserve water throughout the town. So the website, if I were to click and tell you that my neighbor is overwatering or watering when they shouldn't, I'm just curious then, will that absolutely result in a first level a notification? Or is that at your discretion?
It won't be a fine. It'll be a first level notification, which means we'll tag their door. Once we tag the door, then if we see it again, what it does, it gives us places that we can look at instead of having to drive around the local town. Once we see it, physically we see it, we will institute the fine policies.
And so
the first thing is a tag. We'll tag the door. We have a door tag.
Okay. And so for us who feel like we want to help you in tightening the following the regulations, if you will, we would probably want to wait another week. And if we see it again, we can submit it to the website once again and hopefully help you enforce Does that sound about right?
Was to tell us now because the first level is just a door tag. So that gives us the opportunity to go to that residence and put a door tag on the door to see if they're doing it again. Then we'll compile a list of the residents that we think we need to go back and double check, and we'll do that ourselves. Only because for us to institute a fine, it has to be witnessed by a Weir River Water employee or a town employee. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, thank you. Understood.
Tony, thank you very much. Anybody else? Peter Swanson. Hey, Peter. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Russ, that's pretty impressive, your concept of doing this. However, I think I'm going to the Weir River Watershed or Water Resource webpage is a little cumbersome and maybe not on most citizens' minds. The town of Hingham has decided to develop to have on board a sustainability coordinator. And I'd like to encourage you to work with her to go into schools and to talk to children. Because I think the children are the ones that are going to motivate their parents to do good conservation methods. What do you think about that idea?
I have no problem talking to the kids and going to schools and talking about water and, water treatment and things like that. I have no problem with that at all.
No, but I'm saying now that we have a sustainability coordinator, maybe the two groups could work together and really get into schools and work with our youth.
I have no problem working with anybody else in the town. It's not a problem at all.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is public comment. The Hingham Board of Water Commissioners encourages community engagement and welcomes questions and comments as agenda items are discussed at the meeting. In addition, we have set aside up to 15 minutes for public comment for items that fall under the purview of the board and are not already on today's agenda. If any guest wishes to speak, please seek to be recognized. Once recognized, state your name and address and direct your comments to the chair. Comments will be limited to approximately 3 minutes per speaker and must relate to topics within the scope of the responsibilities of the board. Speakers are encouraged to present their remarks in a respectful manner. Public comment period is not for debate by members of the select board. Select board is not able to adopt or endorse any of the comments made during the period. Let me see if anybody has any comments. Tony, I think you indicated you wanted to speak, so that's on you, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Bill. This past spring,
I'm sorry, just your name and address for the record again.
Oh,
Tony.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay.
Anthony George, 15 Blaisdell Road, here in Hingham. This past year I've retired and I have extra time on my hands, and I've joined the Cleaner Greener Committee. And thank you for that appointment. I'm going to continue to participate with the Weir River Watershed Association because I'm very concerned about water. It's hard not to read the paper and stay abreast of the news and see that the issue of water is it's lurking. I think we all agree that the Northeast were fortunate at this time. However, the drought and the heat, it's coming our way, and I'm not trying to be a doomsayer here, but we're very concerned, and we're seeing it now when you examine closely the Weir River itself. Samantha Woods, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Samantha. She provides quite an education on the state of our local Weir River and the brooks that feed the Accord Brook that feeds down from the reservoir. It's quite an education on the state of our natural resources. So I think the comment I wanted to bring today to the board is a comment or even a question about considering or asking, can you see, like I can see, the future where we're very concerned about not just the water for people, but the water as a resource for all the other living creatures. It's alarming if you take a step back from the people and look at the natural resources here in Hingham and beyond. I'm focused on Hingham. It's alarming. It's already here. The emergency, and I guess I just want to ask or comment that we need to. I'd like to see us and the Weir River Watershed Association, speaking for them, we'd like to see the natural resources somehow. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but it should be incorporated into our water policy. And that's generally a comment I'll finish with there.
Tony, thank you very much. You raise very, very valid concerns, very important concerns. In terms of incorporating more concerns for natural resources into our water policy, this upcoming year, the governance structure of the Weir River Waters Association will be, Weir River Water Company will be studied in more detail. So how we govern the Board of Water Commissioners going forward is going to be looked at and presented eventually to town meeting for a vote on the future of the governance. So what I would encourage you to do is continue to attend, these meetings and other meetings related to the company and continue to press this issue. And obviously we'll take it under consideration as well. But your concerns are very, very valid, and I appreciate you raising them.
Terrific. And I am in touch with the transition committee. And,
Great.
and this fall, they're welcoming us to join in the conversation, offer some information. So good. Thanks, Bill. That's
excellent. I was going to say that's a committee to be in touch with. Thank you, Tony.
Terrific. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. All right. All right, with that, then I want to wish everybody a good weekend. As we noted, given the fact this is the Board of Water Commissioners meeting, we are in a drought right now, and it's a significant one. So if everybody could pitch in and help us to conserve water and to do your part in helping our community get through this, that'd be appreciated. But with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move that the Board of Water Commissioners adjourn.
I would second that motion. All those in favor by roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries. All right, everybody, have a good weekend. We're going to hold this channel, and about a minute from now, I will convene our select board meeting. We'll start in 1 minute. Actually, no, it's 9:13. We'll start at exactly 9:15. Thanks, everybody.